You're listening to the Drum Shed Podcast.
Let's do that all again. Welcome to the Drum Shed Podcast. Today it's Riza and I. Slightly different because I'm in Portugal right now. And so I should say boa tarde because it's the afternoon. Boa tarde. Riza, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Matt. I must comment on your holiday shirt. Or was it a Christmas shirt? I'm not entirely sure.
I deliberately put this loud shirt on. In actual fact, I brought it with me, but the first time I've worn it is actually on the podcast because I haven't had the guts to wear it outside.
Don't blame me, mate. Don't blame me.
Yeah, I'm a bit partial to a bright Hawaiian style shirt. This is a little bit Magnum-esque. It's a bit like a PI, Magnum PI kind of shirt. However, they always look better in the shop than when you put them on and take them outside of the shop.
I have the utmost respect for Thomas Magnum PI. I don't reckon he'd have worn that shirt, mate.
Just have a little Google up later on. You'll see he had a red shirt. It was pretty similar.
Great car, great watch. Not so sure about the shirts.
What watch did he have? Breitling?
He had a Rolex Pepsi GMT. 16710,
Oh, here we go.
I think.
Is that the serial number? Oh, the model number, right? Okay.
The model number, yeah.
Here
we go. But if you had a set of minor symbols, you would have known the bloody serial number, wouldn't you? You probably would have known who made them.
I would have known the guy that hammered them in Turkey and the guy in Germany that finished them off.
Yeah.
Talking of Germany, by the way, I've taken the local beer, which is obviously 0%. Whenever you see me drinking, it's always going to be 0. Sin alcohol. In Spanish, I guess that is, and sem alcohol in Portuguese. I don't know, but either way, it's German because it's from Lidl, and it's the same stuff that I drink at home, but it's in a can. It's not quite as nice.
Wonder what alcohol means in German.
Right,
I'm moving on because you're.
Yeah, you've lost me there, bro.
Anyway. So can I just quickly say, I've just come back from the wonderful 25th Freddie Gee Academy week last week. And can I just quickly say a big hello to Tony Scullion, who was on it. Don't know if you know him or not of him, but lovely bloke. Met him a few years in a row on Freddie Gee, and he apparently has listened to every episode of this. So hopefully he'll be listening to this one as well. So hello, Tony.
I doubt I haven't spoken to him before, but he likes everything we put up, and what I put up as well on a separate level. Yeah. He's a guaranteed like. He's what we call a dead cert.
A dead cert.
Like if you're going out clubbing on a Friday night, you know what I mean? That maybe not that kind of thing, but
he's a banker. No, I know you've been called.
Excuse me, what did you say? Sometime. Oh, I see. I thought you just broke up there. It says must be come in London. He's a banker. Okay, fair enough. Yes, I was a banker for 2 weeks actually.
Yeah.
In work experience in a merchant bank in New York.
Well, there you go. As I said,
I hated it.
As I said, mate, a bit of a banker.
Cheers. So what is the weather like there in London? Is it warm?
It's fucking hot today, right? It's 26 degrees. Supposed to be a bit of a heat wave this week. Probably not Portugal standards, but it's really nice.
I think we're similar. I mean, this morning I was in the sea on a kayak. It was a bit too choppy for me, so I didn't go very far out, to be fair. I would normally have gone further out, but me and my boy sort of eye-bottled it. And then this afternoon, after this podcast, I'm taking this shirt off and going on a jet ski if it's not cancelled, because we're waiting for the wind because it may be too windy. But it's pretty warm. Yeah, it's about 30 odd, and just had a day of just literally lying in the sun. That's what she wanted today. So we've kind of chilled out, which actually is quite nice. On one of the hottest days of the year, it's quite nice for me to be in the aircon because I don't like the heat very much. Anyway,
Cool. Anyway,
so back to where we were. So it's the podcast. Last time we had one, it was with Jeremy from Lowboy. And I have to just bring up the fact that we had a problem with the audio, which we just talked about from yourself. We don't quite know what happened with your audio, but I couldn't really fix much of it. But today we've just gone back to an older version and we'll try and get that audio better going forward. But apologies for that. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Jeremy for coming in. I've got a couple of new people that I've been in contact with whilst on holiday that we hopefully will get in as well in a couple of next episodes. But we'll keep those secret. But the topical news is that you've just finished a week at Freddie Gee's in Winchester. Is it Winchester area?
Sparsholt, Winchester, yeah.
Sparsholt, Winchester, yeah. In the UK, and with 75 other drummers, roughly, or 74.
I believe 76 actually. Mate, you forgot that other guy.
Oh, sorry, mate. Well, you were the 76th one, were you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They just let I snuck
76 drummers and you.
So, yeah, it's normally. I mean, I think this is my 5th year in a row, and this year was a special one because it was the 25th anniversary one. So there were more than usual, and Greg Bissonette was a special guest teacher.
Oh, Pooh Bear.
Indeed. And he basically.
I've thrown you off there. Sorry, I threw you off. Sorry.
Sorry. And yeah, it was a really, really special week. It's quite incredible how in my 5th year you build up friendships with people who you might only see at Freddie Gee. I mean, these days with Facebook, you see them on Facebook and Insta anyhow, if they're on it, which most people are. And the lines between virtual friendships and real face-to-face friendships can all get a bit blurred. But you see all these people, you make friends with all these people, and for me as well, I got to spend a week with Mel, which was nice. Yeah, that was the best bit about the week for me, anyhow. Closely followed by spending time with Andrew Eveley. But tutor-wise, we had Pat Garvey, who I studied with anyhow, and I think I know him pretty well as a teacher. But he's brilliant. Steve White, who, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't know who Steve White is, you probably shouldn't be. Craig Blondell, same goes for him. I've been studying with him for on and off for nigh on 20 years now, 25 years. Greg, Eddie Thrower, Busted's drummer, who also has a podcast with Mike Johnson. He was there for 2 days, and his style is very, very different from the rest. We all get to jam with him, sharing a bass drum, one on either side of the bass drum, and then separate snares and hats and a floor tom. So that was very, very good fun. And then some groups. Well, sorry, what I forgot to say is that the attendees were divided into 5 groups. So each group studied with every teacher once a day. So the classes with Eddie, you got to jam with him for 5 minutes or so. And then some classes people got to jam with each other as well. And that's fantastic fun, especially. And when you're sharing a bass drum, you can't really hit the beater at the same time. because the notes sort of cancel each other out. You still hear them, but they deaden. You're hitting one side and the beater's hitting on the other side as well. It gives you a bit of a dead sound. So part of the trick there is you have to come up with bass drum patterns between the two of you, where you're hitting consecutive bass drum notes as opposed to simultaneous. And then we had Vince Dunn, who's he only did a day, but he's a really fun guy who leads the Vince Dunn Orchestra. He's a sort of big band jazz player, but he can put his hand to anything. And we also had the absolutely amazing Andy Gangadine, who Massive Attack, Spice Girls, Jeff Beck, played with James Brown, Chase and Status. His CV is as long as my arm. And we had a day of tutorage with him, which was quite amazing. We all got up and played along to some of the tracks that he's played on with him on another kit, kind of doing 4 or 8 bars each. So that was special. And we had Neil Wilkinson turn up. Oh, hang on, Greg Bissonette, Ringo Starr's drummer, who.
It sounds funny, doesn't it, saying Ringo Starr's drummer when Ringo Starr is a drummer?
Yeah, I mentioned this to someone in one of my bands and they on a WhatsApp group, and the reply was, "Why does Ringo Starr need a drummer?" And I guess if you don't know that Ringo Starr's got what's it called? His all-star band, isn't it?
Yeah.
But first of all, apparently he doesn't play any Beatles songs that he didn't sing on, which I didn't realise. Greg told us that. But secondly, there's quite a lot of double drumming with him and Greg, but also he sings on stuff, and Greg drums solo on a lot of stuff. But yeah, Greg was this larger than life character everywhere, all singing, all dancing, quite literally singing and dancing, and drumming. And it was a fabulously interesting experience to hear all his stories all day about playing with Ringo, Dave Lee Roth, and everyone else that he's played with, and all his experiences of playing in the US and all around the world. Quite amazing. Sorry.
So to saying, does being Matt and being a little bit, cheeky and childish, did Greg, because I said it earlier, but did Greg mention the Winnie the Pooh thing? Did it come up
He
at
did.
all?
Yeah, he did a couple of times.
Yeah.
It doesn't. One might think he might keep it quiet, that's a sort of sideline he doesn't want people to know about. But I always think you never know, do you? But there appeared to be no holds barred with what Greg spoke about. But of course, one wouldn't know what he didn't talk about.
Doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, but he appeared quite candid. So he talked about. He mentioned Winnie the Pooh. He.
Should we just mention? Should we just say to the listeners who don't get what we're saying, is that he's the voice of Winnie the Pooh, and obviously Winnie the Pooh's been going for some time, so he's not the only voice. I think he's possibly the second or current voice. I'm not sure. He's not the first.
I think current. I don't know. I mean, I find it a bit hard to palate that Winnie the Pooh has a voice, because I read the books when I was a kid.
Yeah, but on the Disney side of things,
hard to handle that Disney is now the owner of Winnie the Pooh, to be honest.
Well, I think I find that easier to understand than the fact they own Star Wars, but that's another subject we'll come on to another day, maybe.
Fair point, yeah.
But I mean, Winnie the Pooh is more famously Disney for longer than Star Wars is, for instance. But as we are old Brits, would be like, well, that's very much ours, you know, and it's not American, it's English. It came from Hartfield, Edenbridge area in Kent. I've been to the actual bridge. Did you know that the bridge was? Yeah, I've thrown sticks over the bridge in the 100 acre. So the real wood is called the 100 acre wood, but in the books they call it the 500 acre wood. And the bridge was falling down.
Hang on, I'm going to challenge you on that. I think it's called 100 acre wood in the books.
Well, it's either one way or the other. One is 500 acre and one is 100, whichever one it is, right?
Yeah, I think it's 100 acre in the books, so maybe it's really called 500.
There's a shop. There's a shop in Hartfield called Pooh Corner, which I don't even know if that's still there, but it wasn't. It was there a few years ago. That sold loads of Pooh Bear memorabilia, but it's an old-fashioned looking shop. Yeah, well, you can go down there. It's just down the road, mate. It's quite easy.
Yeah.
But apparently the bridge was falling down, and Disney paid a fortune, like millions, to rebuild the bridge. So they did actually input in fixing the bridge up. Made a lovely, strong bridge that could last. Because everyone that's a Pooh Bear lunatic will go to Hartfield if they.
Did you read the books when you were a kid?
Yeah, I'm obsessed. And again, if you want to challenge me on any Winnie the Pooh stuff, but knock yourself out, because I was a bit of a Pooh Bear, a bit of a aficionado. Okay.
I know enough to know that when you're knowledgeable about something, you are.
Yeah, I get a little bit obsessed with it. But anyway, I had a little Pooh Bear trivia book, which I just memorized that. Anyway, so Greg, he told us at a clinic that I saw him at Absolute Music that he was doing a sound check or something, and when he was talking down the mic to the sound guy, they called him in and said, "Could you come in and talk to us?" And the story was that the guys doing the sound were also working for Disney, and they thought he had a great Pooh Bear voice, and that's how he got the gig. Something like that. That's a very, very quick version, which is unusual for me to do anything quick. Not everything, but very quick version of how he got the gig. So which I find ironic if you think about it, because on the stage when Greg is playing with Ringo, you've got Pooh Bear and Thomas the Tank Engine all at the same time. What's going on?
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Anyway, that's my diversion away from drums for a minute, just to help my childish brain. So Greg was there all week, was he?
So he was there all week, and first day, first lesson with him was he went round our group. I think it's about 15 of us in my group, which was definitely the best group in the.
Well, because you were in it, basically. Or...
No, I'm joking. Every group thought their group was the best, but we did have some outstanding players in my group, which I felt just honoured to be able to sit there every day and watch these guys play. I should mention there's Andrew Everley, James Walker, Nick Kendall, names that you know for sure, and
Nicole Kendall,
John Coombe, Nicola
Kendall, yeah,
Nicola, John Coombs, Hugh Rees, Colin Woolway was in the group as well, and everyone, with everything that Colin's been through, was very, very happy to see him there, and he got on the kit towards the end of the week, which was really, really great to see, and it was just lovely to share 5 days worth of lessons with Colin, because he was one of the members of the group as opposed to a teacher, but he had lots of very helpful hints and bits of advice through the week. And
did I tell you that Angie bought his book and tape cassette years ago? Drumwise, was it Drumwise? Drum Sense. Drum Sense, not Drumwise. That's the other. Yeah. That's that other thing. Drum Sense with the white book and we found I think I found the tape recently, but I haven't found the book. But Angie actually bought that book when she was learning a bit of drums years ago, like eight before
Yeah, I didn't know
Archie.
you had a drummer in your family.
Yeah. Well, we did, then she stopped playing. Now we haven't.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
apart from Archie.
Um, yeah,
Sorry.
but
Yeah, it's nice to see Colin because I always see him at the shows. You always see him walking around at the
yeah,
shows.
I mean, he only lives down the road from me, um, and I should get in touch with him and have a beer with him or something. But yeah, I mean, the first lesson with Greg. Sorry,
So his
first
earpiece fell
lesson.
out. Go on.
First lesson with Greg. He asked the group, "What one song would we take with us if we only could listen to that on a desert island?" Which gave me a good idea for a radio program, perhaps. Don't know what I'll call it.
Well, maybe like
Um,
Desert Island
but
sort of thing.
Desert Island Records, perhaps, or something
Yeah,
like that.
Desert Island MP3s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, so we all said various things. I said, of course, "Cowboy Song" by Thin Lizzy. Uh, and after we'd done that, he then said, "Does anyone want to get up and play one of those songs or something else?" So you know those moments when it seems to last half an hour in your mind, but in reality, it was probably only a minute. I sat there thinking, this is Greg Bissonette, the closest thing to Ringo Starr musically. Maybe Zach Starkey would have been close, that I will probably get. So I thought, and shut myself. And then I thought, no, I'm going to do it. So I got up and said, yeah, I'll play Come Together. So I got up, sat there, and he gave a little brief chat about how it should be played, which immediately, like, I never realised those first two notes in the phrase with the bass drum are played on the ride, not on the hats. You know the phrase? It goes
Yeah,
do do do. Yeah,
that one.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way you've just mimed it is kind of like you would play it on the ride anyhow. But I've always played those first two notes on the hats. Um, so it was like, okay, those two on the ride. He then said that when you go to the main verse, it's just riding on the floor tom, whereas I've always put a backbeat on the rack tom as well. So there were a couple of anyhow. So I played it. A little while into it, he stopped me. This is with the music on through the PA. He stopped me and said that I was playing a little bit ahead of the beat. So I was like, oh fuck man. So started it again.
You did not say the
And then
tape's slow. You just say the tape's running a bit slow.
I did say, because I put some cans on and was expecting to hear my drums in it.
Oh,
Somewhat stupidly, because when I looked, I realised that there were no mics on the kit on his very lovely pink sparkle Dixon kit.
Dixon
But I
Artisan.
expected, I don't know what it is, a Dixon Artisan signature snare, but I couldn't see the
No, the kit's.
label on the kit.
I'm pretty sure the Dixon Artisan is his kit.
Yeah, probably. But I'd expected to have my drums in my mix, and I put the cans on, and there's nothing except the track. So that got a good laugh, and I said, "Oh, I can't hear the drums in the mix." And he made a
What
joke
sort of
about me.
headphones were they? Isolating ones, or
Yeah, pretty much.
so they
I
probably
think
cut a bit of it out as well.
Vic Firth,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know those ones that everyone has, and so you could hardly hear any drums. So anyhow, started again, tried to be more on the beat, and then he stopped and he said and this was really useful advice. He said I was cramping the fill on the rack tom in coming down. So I was going and in that he said I was like rushing slightly and then slowing down in order to come out of it on time. So I had to even that up. And that was really great advice. So I did that, on the third time round. Unfortunately, no one videoed my third attempt, but I kind of nailed it, and on we went. But it felt to me like a big thing to get up in front of Greg and play "Come Together."
Was that
So
one
I
that
was pleased about that.
was that one that
Felt a
Ringo
bit
sang on?
arse that he had to stop me and tell me I was crap twice, but
Ah, well,
crap.
that's where the growth happens, isn't it?
No,
No, it's not where the growth happens.
exactly.
Uh, did did I forgot what I was going to say. I absolutely forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, I sort of interrupted you while you were saying it. If I round the tap back, I'd hear what I was going to say, but it's gone out of my head. Yeah. So I mean, that's
So,
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Did he sing? Because you told me that Ringo only plays the songs that he sang on.
uh,
Is that one of the ones that Ringo sang on?
no, I don't think so, mate. I mean, there was no mention that. I don't think. I assume from what Greg said that they don't take it out live.
Right. So that's
But
not
Greg
one they
isn't.
do. Yeah.
I assume so. Because he said they only play stuff that Ringo sang on, and I think that was it Paul who sang on that? I'm not sure, but sounds like his voice when I listen to it in my head. Um, but he's an absolute Ringo fanatic and expert in terms of knowing about Beatles songs and lyrics and everything. So yeah, he kind of put to bed for me our debate about whether one goes up or down the toms in that, which is simply that Ringo has said he went up floor tom up to the right tom, um, but that's from a left-handed perspective and starting the roll with his left hand on the floor tom and then going up leading with his left on the rack tom as you would if you're a lefty on a right-handed kit, as Ringo did in most of his films. Um, but what he also said is listening to it tonally, he believes it starts higher and goes down in tone, but that's because of the tuning and the heads and T-tails on the toms on the original recording. So it's kind of it to me that if one is to believe what Greg says, which I do, then it solves the question, but it's six of one and half a dozen of the other because it's do you want to play it like Ringo did physically, or do you want to play it and recreate the sound? And I
I mean,
guess
yeah, in
perhaps
my
if
head, if I was
yeah,
playing
but
on my
perhaps
kit,
yeah,
like
but
I
perhaps
said
if
to you,
you were playing it as a lefty, you could recreate the sticking
no,
quite comfortably. Couldn't you?
I couldn't unless I was sitting on your kit or Archie's kit.
Well,
So
sorry, yeah, I meant on a right-handed.
I'd have to be
Yeah,
sitting on a right-handed kit for it to make sense. I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense to me to go round to the left and you go round to the right. Okay, so if I was on your kit, I'd
yeah,
still want to go to the round to the left, but on your kit, I'd be going up, and on my
yeah,
kit,
yeah.
I'd be going
Well,
down.
yeah. No, but
However,
if you're on a
however,
righty kit,
if I'm on, yeah, if, I mean, what I'll do is when I get home, I get back on Archie's kit. I'll have a go. I remember playing it at college, and it was a right-handed kit because there was two drummers, and they wouldn't dare change it over for a lefty, would they? He
yeah,
says with his chip on his shoulder, just amongst these flowery shirt I'm wearing. But I had to learn it. I had to play it on a right-handed kit. But the teacher Billy Jenkins, who was a bit of a ledge in the Lewisham area, he said. To be honest, until that course, I'd never heard of it. And we're talking about 1993 or four, and I'd never heard the song because I'm not a Beatles fan. I might have heard the song, but I never played it or whatever. So he told me to play it up, which was actually helpful, just out of because I was lefty. But yeah, And again, I think because the drums are so deadened that it's hard to even tell the pitch. I do believe,
Yeah.
I do believe that if it's a bit like those pictures, I was texting you this morning. Like if you look at a picture and it's one of those weird pictures, it says, "Look, there's a horse in this picture," and you've been told it's a horse, and you look at it and you see a horse, and then you're getting told it's not a horse, it's a canoe or something completely different, and then you look at it again, and you go, "Oh yeah, it's a canoe, not a horse." And I do
What,
think
you think it was played by a horse?
now, what I'm trying to say to you is as an analogy for a visual alternative, is that if those pictures, when your brain tells you to look for something, you look for it. And in that song, when I say it goes up, if I say that goes do, when you listen to it, I think you hear it going do, right? But if you say it's the other way around, you hear it that way. I think it's a bit of a brain.
It's a bit of a mind fuck, isn't it? Because I'm thinking I cannot hear it going up in tone, which could prove your point because you cannot hear it going down in tone.
No, I think I might be able to hear it going down in time. I have to say, I have to sort of tell myself first, I'm now going to listen to the song and it's going to go down, up and down, and then I'll hear it. But I'm not really worried about it.
No, I can't. Yeah, but we've had 17.3 hours of conversation.
I know.
But I'm going to continue to play it. I mean, I'll take it.
Play it how you want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm playing it in a pub or whatever.
No one gives a shit, to be fair.
Well,
in the pub, do they? No one cares.
No,
out of the audience, who cares whether no one's going to stand there and go, "See that drummer? He's going the wrong way."
Yeah.
Unless you're a drummer, maybe.
I'm not playing with two tails on my toms. I'm not. There's a tiny bit of moon gel and some cotton wool balls in my toms, and it does sound different. And as you say, the average punter in a pub doesn't care. So it's cool. But the biggest tip I got really from Greg is not to rush that fill on the rat tom. What is it? The 16th?
Diggity.
No, it's
I thought it was
triplets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's semi-quaver triplets. Yeah, semi-quaver triplets, isn't it? But yeah, is not to bunch those up to make them nice and evenly spaced. So we had that. We had amazing. Pat Garvey is universally liked as a teacher, which is that there are other guys that split opinions sometimes. Not so much because. I guess if people didn't really like the teaching styles, they wouldn't have gone. And as far as I know, pretty much everyone took part in everything. So
I don't know whether it's about liking the teaching style or being able to relate to it. So, for instance, I really like Steve White as a bloke. Right, he's a nice chap. He's a kind man, and he knows his stuff. He's understated. He's not flash. He's a cool dude, right?
Yeah.
He's a local lad, and he's been very kind to us and to my boy and that. So I like him. But I probably wouldn't learn very well from him because of my style of learning or my lack of style of learning. I don't know. But so I would probably have more connection maybe with Eddie. I think possibly because my brain doesn't really remember things. I'm not as analytical as Steve's quite analytical, isn't he? And very good at it.
Yeah. The thing about Eddie is he doesn't read or write music.
Yeah, so same here.
His do you know?
No. I can read.
I never knew that.
I don't read. No.
Bloody hell, mate. Well, I resigned then. I'm not.
Am I not good enough to hang with?
I never knew that.
I can read. I can understand a little bit, but very basic.
I'm not a reader. I mean, you can't put a chart in front of me and expect me to play like Neil Wilkinson or something. But Eddie doesn't read, whereas Pat, Steve, Craig, and Vince, it was very much based on here's this exercise that I've written out. Pat and Steve gave out gorgeously printed little booklets of all the material so we can take away stuff to work on. Craig, I think we're going to get an email anytime. Our students are going to get an email anytime now with all the manuscripts of the exercises he worked on through us. Eddie's teaching style, and the thing about Eddie, I don't know, you probably know how old he is, isn't he? He's in his 30s or something, 35, 40.
Yeah, he's just a little bit younger than me. I think it's like 35 or 6 or something.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But,
I don't know.
To me, he's only a bit younger than you, but he's a lot younger than me.
He's a lot younger than you. Yeah, you're right.
But he's got this feel. Like you look at him as Busted's drummer and perhaps think, oh, great high profile gig. But he's got this feel on the kit that is amazing. And so his teaching style is very much sit here and play with me, and he'll come out with little tips, try this, try that, and then when he plays, one learns something just from his feel. But yeah, the Pat, I mean, I think going back to the original thing, there are people I can relate to and get on better with as a teacher. And I've studied with Craig literally 25 years. And what I find with Craig is quite often in a lesson, I'm struggling to understand the concepts, but I know I have to try and grasp it in order to go away and work on it. Whereas there's some guys who sit there and they get it first time and bosh, they're nailing stuff as we're doing it in real time, whereas I'm still trying to figure it out. As is the case with Steve, it's very much like going fast and do this right now. We're moving on to this now, this variation, and I'm trying to keep up. But my objective in those guys' classes is to grasp what's going on so I can go away and work on it. With Pat, and the reason I'm studying privately with Pat, one of the reasons is because he's at the opposite end of the scale. His teaching style seems to be very much working on things a bit more slowly, so everyone really understands them and then gets to hammer them home a bit in the class. And that's something that resonates with me. And yeah, it really does sort of float my boat. So all good.
I mean, there's a question I'm going to come to about ability on the Freddie Gee, but just to sort of qualify what I said about reading. So I do own a lot of books that I've been, looking at. Christine Nedden's book recently. I've got Steve White's books. I've got Benny Greb's written books, not just the ones about effective practicing, but the ones with notes in. Anna Cornelis's books. I've got an old Phil Collins book. We've got Stick Control. He's walked away. Oh, we've got Stick Control. We've got the I can't remember what it's called. The really famous Joe Morello one.
Master Study.
I don't know. Maybe it's not Joe Morello. Anyway, we've got books, right? And I can look at notes and I can try and learn and pay attention. I get very lost. I'm actually probably better off. Mike Johnson did the Blocks book.
Yeah.
So that's like one page of a beautiful picture and one page is pretty empty apart from a block and a little note. That kind of thing is probably really good. It is good. I've got that as well. It's good for me because I can just focus on that and see what that does and not be distracted by all the page and like having loads of dots on one page. So if I'm trying to work on something, I might just highlight that one bit, maybe even block out with physical bits of paper so I don't get distracted by all the other bits. But that's just a brain thing.
If you take Mike's book, you can look at that bar that he's written out and figure out what it should be, can you?
Yeah. So I can,
Yeah.
I know where the bass, I know where, where the stave. I did music at school, and I know about, where the notes sit on the staves, and I know about triplets and crotchets, as we'd call them, and quavers and things. I get all that, and the rests, and I know quite a bit. I know a bit. I used to play the saxophone. I used to be in concert band. I used to have to read music all the way through, like playing saxophone or playing percussion, for like a long production like Noah's Flood, which went on forever. So I have been able to do it, but I'm not very good at it now, and I've lost that ability to just to focus. I think I just get easily distracted, and that's not necessarily just because of to do with drumming. That's just a Matt thing. As I've got older, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, I would listen. I'd probably learn more from listening and playing than the theory side of it. So the practical side, I'm a better learner that way than the theory side of anything, and not just drumming. But so the question I was going to ask you is, at Freddie G, for people thinking of going next year, because there's lot going on about it on on social media at the moment, because everyone's talking about it, posting up pictures and videos and what have you of their experiences. There were 76 people there, drummers, clients, customers, whatever. Are they all a certain level? You said that you was with a great team because you had some really great players, blah blah blah. What do you get people that, is there a requirement like to be beyond never picking up a drumstick? Is
No,
there like an
well,
entry requirement?
yeah, I think the requirement is no beginners. What one would classify as a beginner is perhaps a different matter, but
That's the thing, isn't it?
um, no beginners. You have to, yeah, but you have to sort of be able to play. But from that, there are people on maybe, from maybe the second rung of the ladder up to professional teachers and professional players, and each group is mixed in ability. So yeah, I mean the most of the lessons manage to cater for most of the people, but I guess by definition, this isn't one-to-one tuition tailored to you individually. So there may be the odd example of someone being too far behind the curve or too far in front of the curve even. But I think most of the people were repeat attendees anyhow. I can only think of one person I knew of who was there for the first time. Um,
So do you find
so
that people hanging back, if you're doing like I've seen these videos, do you do like pad courses, like, pad work? Do you, like, if you fall off? I think I saw Colin on one of the videos actually, like, went, oh crap, or something, like he got he I
well,
think
there's
I think
lots of. I mean, there
falling
was
behind
lots
kind
of
of element.
occasion. Yeah, there's lots of occasions when you're all doing a pad exercise with Steve or Pat, and I mean, a couple of times it happened with me where I'm losing my place or dropping a beat, and then like, oh shit, where were we? Having to catch up, and some guys will look at a page or see the teacher telling us about sticking, and they get it straight away. Other people like me have to spend a bit of time hammering it home. But it's no biggie. I mean, there's no shame. It's the most positive and constructive environment you can imagine. Every most I think every room has the teacher sitting at kit and then two other kits in the classroom. So we're continually getting up and having a go. Steve or Pat or Craig will illustrate a concept, an exercise, or a song, or whatever, and then say, right, does anyone want to get up and have a go? And there's always, but when I first went, 5 years ago, I was petrified at the thought of getting up. So I mean, I've been going through what I realised was maybe an interesting cycle, in that I first was petrified of getting up and playing in front of other drummers. As I did it a bit, I realised it's no biggie. And then I went through a mindset of thinking I want to get up and do the things I know I'm good at to sort of try and impress people. But this time I was more the other way and thinking I want to get up and mess things up in order to learn. Um, and you do get some guys who are just fantastic professional players who get up and nail everything, and they serve as an example to us in terms of, okay, that's how it needs to be done. It's just the best intense learning experience.
I remember Mel telling us about her first experience when she was petrified, thought she was making a bad mistake and turn around and go back, kind of thing. So I think I would definitely, I certainly related to that. I pictured that when she told us on the podcast a while back. I was there with her. I could imagine exactly the situation. Like I would be like likely to be like that. To be fair, I get like that every time I come to a jam with you. And then afterwards, I'm really glad I've done it because, and it proves every time.
I mean, I think if you're a first timer there, you've got to get through that pain barrier. But yeah, it might last an hour for you. It might last 3 days for someone else. But once you get through it, it's just the best environment. Plus, you have such a laugh in the evenings. There were evening performances. Neil Wilkinson turned up and did a clinicky type thing on Tuesday evening, and his feel is just to die for. You can't. I mean, he's got all the chops as well, but his feel is something that you have to be in a room and see and hear to appreciate. So we had him, we had Ray. I'm afraid I can't remember his surname, but from Haken or Harken, Haken, sort of heavy rock band, proggy sort of many time signature band. He actually, mate, I'll send you a picture if you haven't seen it of his Natal kit because Archie would love it.
Yeah, Archie was loving that. He was obsessed with the Natal stuff. In fact, we almost bought a Natal kit while we were here this week, but unfortunately, it went quickly from Into Music.
But and then we had a young lady called Daphne, who's only young, probably in her 20s, but slammed it playing some of her band's original stuff, and a couple of sessions she's played on, and she was quite inspiring as well. And then Pat gave Pat's Pat's demo was on the Tuesday night, and he was amazing as well. So you have things to do in the evening in that sense, and then you're drinking in the bar, chatting about drums and drummers and shooting the shit basically. And the tutors are there. Graham Russell turned up on Wednesday night. There's a big barbecue, which is always pretty much the highlight, so the social highlight of the week. And there are all sorts of people floating around. Graham was there with Steve Barney and Jed Lynch. Do you know them? You're frowning.
I told you before, I'm not very good with names, with people.
Steve Barney is one of the UK's top session guys, and Jed is played with Black Grape and people like that. I think Jed's might be a percussionist more than a kit player, but I might be wrong there. And also a few ex-students come if they can on Wednesday night as well. But for me, it's this incredible week. Friday, I mean, Craig gave me a lot of totally unfair grief, to be honest, in the week.
That's normal, isn't it, for you and him?
Well, he gives me a lot of grief. I just sit there quite meekly,
Didn't
listening and
didn't he
studying
swear at
hard.
you? Didn't he swear at you a lot last time? Didn't we talk about that
Yeah,
before?
yeah, he may have a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
but
Okay. But you'd
we
recommend
go
it.
back absolutely to anyone who plays the drums who's not a beginner. Sign up because you will have one of the best weeks of your life.
And a silly question, but it's obviously going ahead next year because it's the 25th year. It's no sign of it not happening.
No, I'm sure it's happening. So if you want to get in touch with George Frederick, um, book yourself a place.
Hmm.
Um,
And
it, it's
they can do that by going to Freddie G on Instagram, I take it. There's a
yeah,
Freddie G page.
Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Yeah, um,
Maybe we'll get George in.
yeah, just
I did want to get George in anyway. Um, but maybe we could get
yeah. I
George
didn't
in.
ask him, but yeah,
No, I've
yeah,
asked him before. I met him at the Jazz Cafe not long ago. I've got his number. I'll give him a shout.
sure, yeah, okay,
Be nice to get him in if we can get him in.
yeah.
Brilliant. Well,
Also, the Hive Boys were floating around,
of
and
course, yeah, I saw the Hive Boys in the pictures, and obviously they gave that lovely snare drum to
they
Steve.
they gave that brass monster to Steve as a gift. Well, in recognition of his doing it for 25 years as
Yeah,
well.
it's nice.
Yeah, so they'd supplied all the snare drums in the rooms on the house kits. So we got to play a lot of Hive snares.
Yeah, well, we want to, again, that's on the wish list, a Hive snare drum for probably Archie's going to get one before me, to be fair. But he wants one. I think he wants them to do him a special colour, whatever. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, that'll be, they're lovely chaps. And they'll be at the drum show, won't they? So they'll probably be bringing some of those snare drums to the show this year.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw them in the pictures. I knew they were going to be doing the snare drums, so I didn't know if they were going to be around much. But they there the whole time, or they popped in, or
They were there at the barbecue on Wednesday. I think Matt was there on Monday night, and then yeah, I think Monday night Matt was there, and then Wednesday night. Actually, I think they were both there on Monday night, and then they came back on Wednesday.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, they sat in on a few classes. Matt did, or John did, on Friday as well.
nice.
Um, so yeah, it was all good, mate. It's really brilliant week. Bit of a come down for me. I get because it's so intense, and then having time with Mel is always amazing. And then Friday night, I'm sitting here again all on my own. So I practiced. I had a gig on Saturday night, which was good fun as well.
Yeah. I'm due to have a bit of a come down myself. I'll be landing quite late on Wednesday night. I've taken the Thursday off. I was going to go straight back to work on Thursday, which was a bit stupid. I didn't realise we're coming back so late from the flight. I mean, it's not a long flight, but you know. So I'm having that Thursday chill, which will be a bit of a come down from having this backdrop, which doesn't look, you can't see particularly well because it's so bright. But I'll be coming back to that and then starting work on Friday, which in a way is quite good because I'll have one day of, oh my God, then I'll have the weekend. I'll be back in the shop on Saturday, so that'll be quite nice to get back to the shop. And then Monday, here we go again. And it is a come down whenever you go from one place to another. The difference with me and you is that you've left a load of people, and now you're just going to crack on with normal life. And when I get back, it will be getting back into being able to play my drums again. So that'll be quite nice. And hopefully, I'm going to come see you on Thursday and do the jam that we do.
Oh yeah,
Surbiton. So that's. Angie's like, "Are we going to do that? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like if I'm awake enough, let's do it." I'll only be working from home on Thursday anyway, so on Friday, so it won't really matter. But yeah, and my other bit of drum news, we talked about some little drum kits. We'll have this on another podcast in more detail. But since I've been here, I've seen two bands down at the there's a big stage put up in front of the beach, in this lovely little sort of bay, and they have DJs and what have you, and then they have a couple of bands. So the first band I saw played, the drummer was playing, it's a covers band, and they were playing the white Yamaha Stage Custom hip kit. And my God, I mean, yeah, it was mic'd up, but
I saw your video on that.
it was like immense. The sound of that drum kit mic'd up. If you ever think, do I need to take a massive drum kit? It's a big stage, quite a tall stage, and it's quite a big arena, big area that it's transmitting to, broadcasting out to not broadcasting, but, playing out. And, yeah, obviously it was mic'd up decently, but it sounded great. And the toms, like that high tom is 10 by 5. And the floor tom is 13 by 8, the snom, and the bass drum is 20 by 8. But wow, it was really sounded great. The guy at Pisces in.
But I guess, like you say, if you're fully mic'd up and your head choice and tuning are sensible, then,
and the playing was good, yeah. And then the second band we saw, they were playing on the Tama Club Jam. So the one with the 18-inch bass drum and the 10-inch and the 13 by, I think the 13 by 6 or 7. It seemed a little bit shorter than the 8. So it's quite a short floor tom. Again, blew it away. Band called the Munchies. Strange name, the Munchies, but it's a Portuguese band, and they're coming over to England a bit. They do some gigs over here. They're like a function band, wedding band, party band. Really good covers, unusual, not all the same covers that you normally expect, some quite different covers, but still refreshingly interesting and memorable for certain people of a certain age, so so what that did for me was that made me think, do you know what, I'm going to get a little Stage Custom, but the regular size, the bop kit, because I had the custom hip one before, and I do love it, but I've also got the Dixon one, the same sort of sizes. But now I've gone for the this little second-hand Stage Custom kit, but it came with the 10, the 12, and the 14, and the 18 bass. So I wanted a 10 and 14. You can't buy them like that. You have to buy the 12 and 14, then custom order the 10. So it's a second-hand kit, and it actually used to belong to Mr. White, by the sounds of it, or it was part of his academy down. In fact, it's a kit I've already played on before, and that Archie's played on down in Kent at the school. So it's shot up to Newcastle, and I bought it from drumshop.co.uk as we're pushing shops. And it's nice to see how the world goes round. Seen the kit, played on it down in Kent. It's gone up to Newcastle, and now it's coming back down to London, where I shall give it a little fix up. Needs a repair because the hoop's got a crack in the hoop on the bass drum hoop. We'll fix that. That's not a problem.
You're going to put a new hoop or repair that?
I to be honest, what I want 2 brand new hoops, but I want the like amber gloss finish in an 18-inch. I've messaged Gareth at Highwood to see whether he can sort them out for me, and we'll see if I can get some new hoops. But because I like the black with the different colour hoops, the amber colour. Actually, Steve White's got an 8000 Yamaha 8000 kit, which he's put the hoops, he's put the amber hoops on them. It just looks really good. So anyway, yeah. So even though we've been away, we've been still, watching the social media, obviously, because you're never really far away, even though you're, on holiday. But at least I've not been working. So before I get in trouble with the family, we're now going to shoot off and go jet ski.
Cool. Well, you have fun jet skiing, mate.
Yeah, hopefully the wind has dropped a bit. It looks like it might have done. Well, thanks for catching up. I'll get this, hopefully, if I can get this one out, we'll get it out for Friday.
Sweet. Okay. Have fun, everyone, and see you soon.
And next time, we'll see you next time. Yeah. Thanks, Riz. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram at the Drum Shed Podcast. Thanks for listening.